Hi lovely people, you're welcome back to my channel. So we are cutting a shoulder bustier now. I have measured out the shoulder line. So from the shoulder I measured down 17 inches. My half length is 16 inches, so I added 1 inch because I'm going to join the back with the front with half an inch, and I'm also going to join the half length with the down end of the gown with half an inch. So I measured 9 inches for my bust line. That's bust divided by 4 minus 1. You know, my bust is 40 inches. I divide by 4, it gives me 10. Then minus 1, I got 9 inches. So I measured 14 inches for my under bust, then 16 inches for my half length. So I am trying to join the lines together here. So to get the nipple line, I measured from my under bust, I measured 3 inches. To get your nipple line from your shoulder, you can measure it on your client. To get your nipple line, you can take your measurement from the shoulder to your nipple line. But if you are unable to measure your client to get a nipple line, the fastest way to get a nipple line is to measure 3 inches from your under bust. Yes, under bust, you measure 3 inches upward. Okay, this is the measurement I'm working with. The bust is 40 inches, the under bust is 32, and the half length is 32. When I divide the bust by 4, I got 10 inches. So my shoulder is 7.5. I've measured the 7.5, and to get the nipple line, nipple to nipple line, okay, I'm measuring nipple to nipple line now. That's on the bust line. I measured 4 inches. So on the under bust, I measured 3.5, and on my half length, I measured 3.5. Hope you get it. 4 inches on my bust line, 3.5 on my under bust, then 3.5 on my half length. So here I am trying to join the lines together. So I want to get the neckline. I'll use 3 inches for the neckline, and on the style, the neckline uses V-neck. So I'm going to measure 5 inches downward to get my down slope. Is it down slope now? To get how wide I want the V to go. But guys, I later discovered that using 5 will be too small for this person. Though the person does not want the neck to be too wide, but I also thought of using 6 inches. 5 inches will be too small for the person. Okay, it won't make the dress to look so fit on her. Is it fit now? But I just want the neckline to go down a bit, so I extended it by 1 inch. So I measured the remaining part of the shoulder. Is remaining 4 inches, so I divide into 2. It gives me 2 inches. So for the under bust slope, will I say slope now? For the slanting of my under bust, to curve the under bust, to get that bustier shape that I want, I will use 2 inches I'll go in by 2 inches. Okay, why am I going in by 2 inches? It's because my customer, the person I'm sewing this fabric for, uses 40 inches. 40 inches as a bust. The bust is 40 inches. So assuming our bust is more than 40, assuming it is 45 above or 44, I can use 2.5. Do you understand? Depending on how I want the shape to be. So I'm trying to use my French curve to curve the under bust, but the French curve is not curving at all. So guys, I have to use my hand. My hand. So after shaping it very well, I have to use my French curve to do the finishing, okay, to get that shape. So guys, you notice that I used 2 inches for the under bust shape. I went in by 2 inches. So likewise, I'm going to use 2 inches for the shoulder. Okay, so assuming I use 2.5 for the under bust, so I can as well use 2.5 for the shoulder. So here I am trying to join the lines from the shoulder to my breast point. So guys, now I'm about to measure my shoulder line. So measuring my shoulder line, these 2 inches I am going to remove. You know, that is 2 inches. I'm going to remove it while cutting out the clothes. So I added it to it. So for the bust, my bust is 40 inches. No, I didn't remove any allowance at the bust point, so I added 2 inches as I added 3 inches as my sewing allowance. I added 2 before, so here I am adding 1 inch to make it 3 inches. So my under bust is 32 divided by 4. It gives me 8 inches. So I measured that 8 inches plus that 2 inches are the 2 inches for the under bust cut. I added 3 inches to it. I added that 2 inches, then extra 3 inches for the sewing allowance. So I did the same thing for the half length. Okay, I replaced that 2 inches I'm going to remove. I added back to the normal measurement, okay, so that by the time I'm sewing this fabric, the front will not be too short. You know, there are situations where the front will be smaller and the back will be in excess. No, we'll have to add the allowance for the underbust cut. We're going to remove that 2 inches. We'll add it back. So on the armhole, I have to come in by half an inch. You know, for the front piece, we always come in by half an inch to give that shape. You know, your front piece have to be firm. I mean the bust part have to be firm. You know, there are some clothes you sew, you see the excess at the armhole. It doesn't make clothes to look fitted on customers or on us. So when we go in by half an inch, you know, it makes the shape to come out. Okay, so this part that I just shock is the part I'm going to cut out. I'm going to remove it from that's the part I'm going to cut off. The shape is already coming out already. Guys, I forgot to slant my shoulder. I'm supposed to slant it by 1 inch, so I'm going to do that now. I'll slant my shoulder by 1 inch. So after cutting the front piece, it is time for us to cut the back piece. So my fabric is on fold. As you can see, I folded it into two. So I measured 17 inches from the shoulder line. So I've marked my shoulder line. So for my shoulder line, I marked 9 inches. That's my bust point. I measured 14 inches for my under bust, then 16 inches for my half length. I added 1 inch, making it 17 inches. So I have to first measure out the zipper allowance. So I'm going to use 2 inches as the zipper allowance, so I make sure that the measurement is accurate from down to the shoulder line. So that's what I'm trying to get here. Then after then, I will join the lines together to get a straight line from the shoulder to the down end. So I'm getting the bust line here. The bust divided by 4 gives me 10. That's 40 divided by 4. I added 2 inches. Sewing allowance. Then my under bust is 32. 30 divided by 4. It gives me 8 plus 2 sewing for the sewing allowance. My half length is 32. I divided by 4. It gives me 8. Then I added extra 2 inches for sewing allowance. So guys, here I am joining the line together. My shoulder line are male 7.5. My full back is 15 inches, so 15 divided by 2, I'll get 7.5. So it's time to join the lines, then to cut out the back piece. So guys, for the armhole, there's no need of going in by half an inch the way we did for the front piece, okay? Because this is the back piece and there's no need for that, okay? So guys, for the back and at the zipper part, I went in by 1 inch. Yes, 1 inch. You know, to give that shape. There are some zip you fix. Then after fixing them, you see some gallop at the zipper and like at the back. If you notice some people's zip like that, so to avoid that unnecessary gallop that you see the zip making like gallop at the back, to avoid that we have to reduce the back end. This back, we will reduce it by either 2 inches or 1.5 or 1 inch, depending on how you want it. So after then guys, I get my neckline, then I sloped my shoulder by 1 inch. So it's time to cut out the back piece, guys. Guys, time to add wording to our front piece to add padded to it. So what I did was to layer to start the pad from the under bust. You can decide to start from the I want my padded to start from the half length instead of starting from the under bust, okay? There are some people that will prefer their padded to start from under bust, but I prefer my own to start from the half length. Yes, I preferred it that way. guys, it is time to cut the sleeve. So for the sleeve, I will use length 12 inches. Sorry, I forgot to tell you at the beginning of this video that I will not be adding that net to the fabric. You know, on the star, the person forced to use there is two sleeve there. Let me put it that way. There is two sleeve, but for this tutorial, I'll be making only this sleeve. Okay. So I use 12 inches for the length. I also use 12 inches for the wideness of the sleeve. So my fabric is on fold, so I measured down inches from the upper end of the sleeve. I measured 4 inches downward, then I curve it to get that sleeve shape. So that's basically the measurement that we need for the sleeve. So for the next thing for me now is to cut out the sleeve. So guys, we are done cutting out the sleeve. So I will use this this first piece of the sleeve to cut out the second sleeve. After cutting out the sleeve, it's time to use hard net. We're going to use hard net for the sleeve to give it that effect that you see on the screen. We need something that is very thick. We need a facing that is very thick to give that shape. So I'm using hard stay. I'm using hard stay for the sleeve. So guys, it is time to cut the interface for the sleeve. So this is the lining I'm using. Okay, my fabric, my lining is, I've folded my lining into 4 places, so that this lining now is serving for the 2 sleeve, because my fabric was folded into 4 places. So I've reduced the lining by 1 inch. Why am I reducing the lining by 1 inch? I don't want the line to show at the down end of the sleeve after sewing. Okay, so by the time I sew this lining with the sleeve, it will not show at all after fixing it to the body of the dress. You will see the results after sewing. I will show it to you. So guys, I'll go to the ironing table now and iron the art stay to the fabric. I will do the same thing to the 2 sleeve and bring it back for you to see it. So guys, I'm done ironing the art stay with the fabric. So it is time for me to sew the interface, the lining with the fabric. So I'm done sewing the lining and the fabric. So you see I will do it now. I'll push the actual fabric inward by 1 inch. Okay, then I will sew the both end. So I'm done sewing that, so I will flip it out after sewing. I'm done sewing now. So I will turn the line, I will turn it in outside, I will turn it out. Okay, so just watch the way I do it. It's very easy. Okay, you just turn it, you make sure that you use your scissors to bring out that edge. So after joining the lining and the fabric together, I'll go ahead to the ironing table to iron. Then I will join the sleeve. So guys, I'm done joining the both ends together, so I'll flip it out. So after you are done flipping the sleeve out, you see that it's already giving that vibe. It's already giving that shape that we need. Guys, our sleeve is ready. So all we have to do now is to guys, our sleeve is we've already prepared our sleeve. It is time for us to go ahead to the sewing machine and sew the shoulder bustier that we cut earlier. And so guys, I don't want this video to be too long. I will have to stop this one here. So check the description box for the link for the second video. Thank